Hi, we're Wiser Systems. I'm Seth Hollar, CEO, and today I have a new guest. Or maybe not.
New guest. Oh,
Okay.
I'm Logan Maxwell, wearer of many hats.
Okay, we're going to get right down to the point. We're talking about return on investment. And that's the number one thing that customers use to prove out a system when they're installing in production. And what does that mean, actually, Logan?
It just means what you paid for the system has to be less than what you get out of it.
Okay, and we're going to have a use case today. What's our use case?
We are going to use one that we've both been to and we both have seen the facility, so we can both speak at length about what exactly is going on in there. Relatively close to us geographically, just a few states away, but this is actually Biopharmaceutical.
Okay.
So they are taking a big vat of generic material, and then they're taking it and they're doing things to it and sterilizing it and bottling it up into a bunch of little bottles.
Right. And they have all these little bottles. And by the way, they look identical. At least to me, they do.
They all are completely identical. There's like a bunch of white bottles, and they put them all into carts, and the carts get all moved around.
Right. And the carts get moved from, say, one station to the next, and various treatments or recipes are done to them. Is that correct?
Yes.
What would be examples of the treatments or recipes they'd have?
Right. So they're irradiated, right? And they need to be sterilized, and they're tested to make sure they have the right saline content. And then they need to be bottled, labeled, capped, sealed. Yeah. So basically a full production plant that's going from one thing to a finished good at the end.
Great.
Yes. And so we have come in basically, and we have solved the problem of running around looking for carts, because all the carts have material that all looks the same, and they have a lot of buffer storage, aka fancy term for putting crap anywhere they possibly can. And they actually do also have designated storage areas where they keep all these. So they would have people running around looking for different carts because they need to load that specific lot or batch onto the machine at this time. Right.
Right.
So not every step has this buffer storage, right? Of course, going from a giant vat of generic material to different little bottles, that's not necessarily the bottleneck. But there are different, hey, we need to run this batch right now. Especially think about a labeling machine, right? It's all federally mandated that we put what day this got bottled and how long it's good for, right? So we need to run this batch today. Go find that batch.
Right.
Where is it? It's in this giant sea of similar looking product.
So if you think about a return on investment or where potential losses are, there's obviously the labor loss, right?
Yes. And this what brings us to our spreadsheet.
Okay, let's pan over to the spreadsheet.
That we definitely didn't argue about right before this video. So
we might ask for viewer interaction or viewer feedback on this chart. So
yeah,
if you're watching and you're in pharmaceuticals and you have an opinion, please let us know.
I get to just say I'm in sales now and walk away. I'd be like, I don't know anything about this. So it's a lame excuse.
Okay. Well, let's go. The lowest hanging fruit when people are looking at ROI calculations is often in labor efficiency, which means like reducing the number of people running around looking for stuff, right?
Sure.
So let's take this example in pharmaceutical. This is a clean room, by the way, so very clean, people wearing clean suits, looking around. So it might be even a little bit harder in your clean suit to go look for stuff, but let's go line by line. We can kind of explain it. So what's the first thing you're asking yourself when in terms of trying to quantitate or
quantify? Yes.
Yeah, you got me bottled up there. Quantify.
Yes.
The labor savings.
So number of people, clearly. This can vary wildly depending on what site you're at. We've had sites that are in the double digits. A lot of times these are your expediters, your runners, even your product and project management folks will spend a fraction of their time running around, right? So this could be something like 2.5 people if somebody's spending half of their time, right? In this particular case, let's just say we probably got about 3 to 5 people running around.
We'll do the average of 4.
Okay. And then it is the hours per week per person.
Right.
this depends. You might run a 5-day week, 6-day week, 7-day week.
The
Depends.
assumption here is that when you use the RTLS system, you almost spend no time finding the item.
Which is true in many cases. It cuts the time down substantially.
Yeah, so things we hear, moving down from 1 hour to 6 minutes is pretty typical. So
yes, about 10x reduction, 12x in some cases. But yeah, if you think about it, you're having to run and check all these different carts with all the same product material, or go right to the dot on the map.
So we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to estimate the amount of time you're looking for stuff and say, when you put in the RTLS system, it's almost no time at all.
Right.
You can be more complicated, but that's what we'll do for now.
Sure. Yeah. We had to make it one page. Very nice and easy. Yes.
And broadly applicable to a variety of different industries.
Yeah.
Company. So save per person per week. What do you think? How many hours do they save every week? One person looking for bottles that look identical amongst the sea of hundreds of carts.
Right. So let's assume over the course of an 8-hour shift, you're spending 15 minutes or even 20 minutes per hour, right? So let's think about it. 1 hour per day per person. You're running a 6-day week,
okay.
Right?
So
six, I think, is a good number.
And then the other one is applying a dollar amount to this all, and basically the dollar amount is related to how much is this person being paid, for example, to look for all these items.
Yes.
It's not just the salary, right? It's the fully loaded hourly rate as seen by the company.
Exactly.
And so that could be benefits, that could be all the utilities and other items used. So typically you would
workers' comp, disability.
Yeah. Space, office space, additional items, lots of other items. Anyways, you could add another 30 or 40% on top of the standard hourly rate to get the fully loaded hourly rate.
Right. So if we start with something that's say 40 an hour would be an $80,000 a year kind of paycheck for this person, and then you have to add an additional 40 or 50% on top of that occasionally to get the fully loaded rate.
Sure.
Right.
So let's say this person is paid $50 an hour, and then we add another 30% or 40% on top of that?
Yeah, it depends. I think that may be a little high for this particular industry, and it depends. There is going to be clean room certifications and other things that they have to do.
Yeah.
So it's tough to know, but we have to at least give it our best shot.
I'm going to do 65.
Sure. That sounds fine. And again, this is going to be different for everybody, for each different industry, each different facility. And this is not taking into account that those hours will then get redistributed to different tasks in the facility. So you'll have fractional improvements in efficiency across the plant where those people can be doing other things.
Right.
And of course, it doesn't take that into account at all. But
so you put in 3 numbers and instantly you get an annual savings, $81,120 to be exact.
Right.
And it depends on your facility, how large the amount of time it takes, how many people you have, but here you go. There is a number that you have a quantified result.
Yes, and as you mentioned, it's kind of the lowest hanging fruit, easiest to quantify. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the biggest number that we're going to go over, but it does mean it's a very clear cut. This is exactly, these people are running around spending this much time, and you can probably have that number already in your facility and may already have an understanding of what that is, even with just stopwatches and doing some time and motion studies.
So beyond just the labor, there are additional advantages or savings to be had. This example talks about improved production efficiency for the particular machine or at the particular station where the improvement occurs. It could be over many different stations or many different machines.
Yes.
And Logan and I have definitely argued about how to do this. And you are going to look at this and say, I know how to do it better.
You're both wrong.
You're both wrong. And this is how you do it. And if you are one of those people, please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts, because this is a dynamic document.
Yes. And the goal would be also to make this easier for folks to share this. So please reach out, contact us, email us, phone, anything except fax. We do not have a fax machine. So, but
no fire signals?
No smoke signals, but any other way to reach out, please do. And we can share this information. So we did our best to boil this down. We're thinking about this in a very simplistic way. But
Right.
essentially, the number of machines that this is impacting, when you think about carts getting loaded and moved onto machines, it may be you have racks, it may be you have bins, it might be you have trays. But if that machine is sitting empty and doesn't have the thing it needs to run, that is downtime.
Downtime,
And
absolutely.
this would be what you get rid of to create production efficiency gains.
Right. Yeah, there's probably two sides to this. We're focusing more on the potential to increase your production, which has additional profit that you take advantage of by the additional items you produce.
Sure.
But the other side that we haven't really touched upon would be amortization of the machine over its lifetime and making sure that it's used to the full extent possible. That's another subject. Let's just focus on production efficiency.
Yes, I think it depends on whether you're coming from the finance side of the house or you're coming from the PI, CI, production side.
Agreed.
But in this case, they have a few different machines that are getting loaded at one specific time, right? So, and this really depends. This is going to be hugely dependent on your industry and what you're doing.
Right. And so, the whole idea is that you're making something, and if you can't find it and put it in the machine at the time, then it's down and something is not being produced. It could have cascading effects as well. Maybe the machine down the line can't be used because it's waiting on this previous machine.
Yes.
So it can have big impacts. At least for the time being, we'll just focus on a per machine impact, but you can see how it could have cascading effects.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Let's run through this for this particular scenario.
Sure. Now, we're going to put in some rough numbers. So I would say number of machines, we'll probably go with 10. Let's make the math easy. It's going to vary, obviously. And maybe you only have one machine that has this part where you need to load things and offload things. Could be the case, right?
And so the downtime reduction in hours per week per machine, if you're not getting it there in time.
Right. So this is going to be very similar to the labor efficiency part, right?
There's in fact a relationship. So right? If you're not bringing the machine up, if you're lost looking hours for something, then that's the number of hours that are likely to be.
And it doesn't have to be one for one, right? You could have, hey, we know we're going to need to go run this in an hour, go look for it now because we know it's going to take you an hour to find it. But again, this is loose. It's meant for you to play with and correct us on, right? So a number of downtime reduction hours per machine. Let's go ahead and put 6, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Hour a day. That's probably not right, but we're going to just, at least so you can go through the math here with us. So that's 10 machines, right? 6 hours per week per machine. That's 1 hour per day that you're getting things loaded on more, right? So 1 hour per day, that's probably 5 to 10 minutes per hour that you're increasing the performance, which doesn't seem too crazy, right? When we start calculating these things.
So, and then we're talking about the throughput of the widgets per hour per machine. So if it's running and you're taking advantage of, reducing that downtime, how much could it be running or how much could it be producing during that time? Again, wildly varies. For this particular, maybe the machines can do a fair amount of pharmaceutical bottles, per hour. I would maybe we could do like, I know we talked about a larger number, but maybe 10.
They can maybe do 10 bottles an hour. No, I mean, they're doing some
special processing there. We're not just adding caps, maybe we're testing the salinity.
Yes. Well, they are. And again, this depends on the machine, right? The labeling, capping, sealing part of the process is going to be able to go a lot faster than other machines. So you may have to have 10 that test the salinity, but then only 1 that's doing, the labeling.
Clearly, this spreadsheet can be way more complicated.
Yes, we really need a 3-dimensional spreadsheet.
Don't let them scare you. We can do first orders for all of this, and you can too. Okay, I'm gonna go wild and do 50.
50. I was like, you better not type 10.
Okay, widget profit. This is simply talking about the widget you're selling out the door minus the cost of manufacturing. What's that relative profit?
Yes, and that also wildly dependent on what you're making, right? We're in facilities where what leaves is in the 6-figure range, and we're in facilities like this one where what leaves per widget is in the $1, $2 range.
We don't know for a fact.
Yes,
but let's just say you're selling, you're getting a relative $5 profit out of that. The important part here is to not say that the widget profit is entirely due to the downtime reduction because you do
Right.
have many different stations.
Yes.
It could be one of 10 stations.
Right.
So it might only contribute to 10% of the profit. And so in this example, you could look at, hey, of that $5, 10% is contributed to this one machine process. So we'll just put 10% down here to let you know that it's not all of it.
And there are so many different ways to calculate this that we were debating before
Yes,
we go.
we argued about this, and you have a very different way from doing it than what we do, and
We understand
we
and accept
understand
that.
accept that. But for people who want to get started and want to identify where there's potential opportunity, this is one way to do it. And again, I want to emphasize that this is not talking about the machine cost. If you're improving overall machine usage and it's an expensive machine, that too has its cost as well that you can put into the ROI calculator.
Yes.
Okay, we're on our final and last item here, although I'm not sure it totally relates to biopharmaceutical manufacturing, but we can
Nah.
discuss it briefly.
Yeah, not as much. This is mainly for folks that are taking work in process in that they don't own. They're doing things to it and they need to send it back out. Maintenance, repair, overhaul, testing, calibration, material testing, all that sort of stuff. In this case, they're making a raw product and selling it, so it doesn't really relate. But this would be, hey, we need to get this out the door right now, pay for expedited shipping, and or we're being penalized
Right.
by our customer for keeping that inventory and not shipping it back to them, and those can add up. We'll do another video. This one's probably already 45 minutes long, so we'll do another one that relates to those penalties. We have some 3 or 4 folks that deal with that side of the house. But even with this, premium freight penalties not included, really kind of rough numbers on improved product efficiency, really rough numbers on labor efficiency. If this were the actual numbers of the site, and this is what's actually going on, this is they knowing from what it was to put it in, this is going to have ROI in 4 months, 3 or 4 months in this case, right?
Right.
So this, and these numbers are all probably undervalued of a lot of certain things. So anyhow, it's worth it to go through. It's a great mental exercise to do as a facility, and we can help you out a lot. And obviously, we'll give you this spread. It's a very simple spreadsheet. We can help you calculate this for your facility as well if you're curious or you're already going along that path.
Absolutely. And we plan to do more of these for different use cases as
Yeah.
well. And so we appreciate your time. I do want to say one last note. So we've touched upon improved production efficiency, labor efficiency. Logan's talked about premium freight and penalties. We'd also talked about the equipment costs and usage. These are not the only things you can quantify, but they are the low-hanging fruit and easy to look at. There's so much more to be had, but that's going to be for another session. So with that said, feel free to go to our website, fill out a form, send an email. Don't send fax though, or smoke signals.
No facts, no smoke signals.
And until next time, any last words there?
Yeah, feel free to tell us that we did all of this completely incorrectly. So, but yes, we're here to answer any questions you have. Contact forms, email, anything. Yeah, just let us know. We're here.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.